We're live.
First pick, had to fight for what I got it, and I deserve it. Now I'm only moving with a purpose. The people showing love, but I ain't do the service. Never had a chance, was a no-name. All season started working on my post game. Now I seen your readers at the phone and lay alone. I break them off and send a home. Got a game with no shame. Saying I'm a flop, that's an insult, chill. Rolling up a J in the raw pace still. Send a shot, y'all ain't never got a kill. Kick rock city full of
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I think we got this whole live thing fixed. Maybe YouTube is absolutely struggling with our services, but we're back. And if you haven't, or if you aren't watching, or if you are watching, either or, we will have apparel coming soon, whether that be shirts or hats, dry fit shirts, snapback hats. So this will be released to our Facebook page, our group page, Sports Cartel. If you ain't following it, follow it if you are interested in what these shirts and hats will look like. But while I'm here, I'm going to tell you guys to join the family. You have to. I mean, we're a cartel. Join us. You know what I mean? What better than a family? We're the best family out there. So back into what we were originally trying to discuss, and that being the NFL preseason and the importance behind the preseason. All right, John, we got this now?
I hope.
All right, now we hopefully stay live and continue to stay live for the next, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes. If you guys can't tell, we have changed our name. We did that, what was it, right around June? I think June, July-ish, we decided to actually change the name to something a little more catchy. And we sort of put it through our group page for voting, and people liked it, so we did it. If you guys also noticed that Drew nor Mooney are here, Drew should be back next Thursday. Mooney, unfortunately, took another job, so we don't know when or if he will be back on the show. So as of now, we're going to run it. Drew, if you're out there, if you're watching, hope your kids feel better. You, your wife, guys get well soon. Let's get into this. So we were at John saying that the preseason is not important to him. I don't disagree, but I slightly disagree. To me, I think he's correct. It doesn't matter for veterans. It doesn't. If you're an established NFL football player, I really don't see no reason in going and playing in the preseason. I like the preseason just for the sheer fact that I like to see what rookies are there. You know, what players are going to catch on, what players are going to do good. It's their time to shine. It's sort of the underdog. I always really am a big fan of the underdog story. So, but why we bring this topic up is because if you guys weren't watching earlier before we lost connection, we had a bit of an argument on our group page. Our group chat.
A bit of an argument?
A bit of an, yeah. I mean, it was a little more than that. So I want to know if you guys are watching. We're going to take this out. Well, let's talk about it, John. So we know last year Tom Brady threw.
Dennis said preseason football is way better than baseball.
Yeah, I'm probably going to admit with you. I agree. I mean, I'll take preseason NFL football over Major League Baseball, and I am a baseball fan, but I just like football a million times more. But our thing is, okay, so let's talk about it. Tom Brady last year, 2021 Bucks, he threw 16 total passes in preseason. Did he have to go out and play the preseason? No, he just wanted to go out and get some passes up. Do you think them 16 passes really contributed to his regular season play or even helped his regular season play? You know what I mean? So our argument is we had an argument with Zeke. Our closest friends believe that Zeke needs to play in the preseason to prove his worth. Like, John, what does he have to prove?
I mean, he's led the league. He has more rushing yards than anybody in the league since 2016. He still rushed for his average yards attempt last year was like a 4.2.
With a bum knee.
The league average, I believe, is like a 3.5 league average. He's still above average. You know, I mean.
Well, the whole argument is he's in a decline. But I want to know where. Where is Zeke declining? Someone explain this to me. What has shown that he declined?
I don't think he's as explosive as what he was. You know, but knee injury, big part of it. You know, I don't think. I mean, I think if he gets that knee fixed, he might be back to normal. But I don't know if we'll ever see.
Well, you're talking
Zeke
about the
we-
4.3 speed that he had
Yeah,
coming out
yeah.
of
I mean,
college.
We've seen a little bit of slowdown there, but
And that obviously we know he's in year 7 as an NFL running back. You're going to
Age.
lose speed with age. I mean, what is he going to be? Probably 28, 29 years old this year, maybe closer to 30. That's just right off the top of my head. But I want to know where his decline is. I want people to tell me where his decline is, because if we go back 2 years ago, okay, 2020, what happened to the Dallas Cowboys? You know, Dak Prescott goes down with a broken ankle.
Zeke's 27.
27. So Dak goes down with a broken ankle. Star quarterback gone in Dallas. All right.
What's up, Isaac?
Travis Frederick just retires for I think he had Barnes syndrome or something. Just fucking retires. One of the best centers in all of football. Just walk the fuck away. All right. Lyle Collins gets in a car wreck, breaks his hip, misses the whole entire season. So now your star right tackle, the whole entire season's gone. Tyron Smith missed a majority of the season. I believe he missed more than 12 games in 2020. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I know it was more than 10 games. I want to say it was 12 games missed. Zach Martin, late in the season, misses the final 6 games of that season.
They struggled on the offensive
What?
line side. Yeah.
Like, what do you want him to do? You know, running backs are only good, and I'll say Barry Sanders is an exception, but running backs are only as good as the 5 guys who block in front of you.
For the most part.
For the most part, Barry, like I say, Barry is a very,
I
very
didn't put LT up there. LT
Yeah.
didn't have a
yeah. But and then if you on top of it, you lose your star quarterback. So now you are the key focal point to that whole entire offense. Your
Yeah.
receivers are lackluster at this point because your quarterback's gone, and we all seen it. And Dallas haters can say, "Oh well, they had Andy Dalton." Yeah.
us Bengal fans.
Yeah.
That's how that works out.
I mean, and then, you know, that's that year. So he still rushes for 970 yards at more than 4 yards per carry with one of the worst offensive lines in football and no starting quarterback. All right.
Yep.
Come into this year. He starts off the season on fire. His first 2 games, he's on fire. He burns his knee up. Game 3 is when he actually had the meniscus tear.
And still continues to play.
He's never missed a game for injury in his career, ever. Only 7 running backs rushed for 1,000 yards last year. 7. But yet they say that's not something to be proud about. Last year, only 9 running backs had 1,000 yards. It's nothing to be proud about, they say. And what did Brent Thaxton say in our group chat? That's a measly 58 yards a game, Mike. If it's so lackluster, why aren't there 32 running backs with 1,000 rushing yards? Whether you throw the ball or pass the ball, I don't care. If you say it's 58 yards, then if it's that easy to get 58 yards in the NFL, we should never have an argument for why a team doesn't have at least 1,000-yard rusher.
I didn't know. I didn't realize there was only 7.
It's only 7. So, and he did it with a bum knee. Okay, so now this is what I want to get to. 2019, healthy offensive line, healthy quarterback. Zeke gives you damn near 1,400 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns. Where is the decline? I say situational things have happened to Zeke. Situational. It ain't that, yeah, Zeke, like you said, Zeke's lost his burst. He has. He's not a 4.3 speed guy anymore, but I bet you he can still run a 4.5.
4-4.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
What's a second?
I mean, what do you think on it? Do you honestly feel that Zeke is showing decline as a running back in the NFL?
No, and I think a lot of defenses still look at him as a threat, and they play accordingly when they play him. They're not looking at him as he's a 3rd string or 2nd string running back, but I thought, hey, this guy's got talent. We got to play to defend this guy. So I don't think so. I mean, if he still scares defenses, no, and obviously he still scares defenses.
I mean, logically, there's no defensive coordinator that comes into Dallas the week of the Dallas game and says, we don't. It's just Zeke. He's washed up. He's running a 4.40. He didn't average 60 yards a game last year. We don't have to worry about him. It's not what they do. It's not. They come in and say, how do we slow him down to start?
Yep.
Because I still believe coaches feel, I know Dak has taken a step forward. He has. He's went up. He's a threat with his arm now. He ain't like he was 3-4 years ago where he couldn't beat you with his arm and needed all the weapons in the world. Dak has adjusted and evolved and gotten better at the quarterback position.
Better with age.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I legitimately want to know. Someone's got to explain this to me. Maybe I'm just giving you an unbiased opinion, but take my bias away. I literally can go look at his stats, and I want people to tell me where's he declined at. Because what would be the first thing you look at? I don't look at yards per game. I look at yards per attempt. He's still averaging over 4 yards a carry.
I think the only one, I think Derrick Henry was what? He's right around 5, wasn't he?
I think who led was Jonathan Taylor last year, led yards per carry. Zeke was doing that in year 1 and year 2. That's what happens when your team's young. They're not battered. They're not bruised. You're explosive. Your legs aren't 7 years deep. And yes, your speed might go, but the dude ain't getting no smaller. He ain't avoiding hits. He's not getting tackled by the shoestrings. You know what I mean? We've seen running backs decline after 7, 8 years. And I'm not saying Zeke ain't going to be a product of that. And I'm not saying like these people say, well, Zeke might never be Zeke again. Well, I can agree with you on that because Zeke's never going to be the 4-3 guy. The guy that burns defenses when he breaks through the middle. Yes, he's not that no more. But what running back carries that 7 years into the league? What running back in year 7 is the same as they were in year 1?
Actually, believe it or not, and yards per carry attempt, Rashad Penny led it with 6.3 yards per carry. He had 749 yards.
Oh, he took off at the end of the year last year.
Josh Allen tied him at 6.3. Lamar Jackson was 5.8. Jalen Hurts was 5.6. Tony Pollard is at 5.5. And Nick Chubb, has the most yards. The highest was 5.5. Miles Sanders 754. Jonathan Taylor also at 5.5 and had 18. So him and Chubb led it. It was tied there at 5.5
for lead backs. Yeah,
for lead backs, and then it drops off. Chase Edmonds at 5.1, which blows my mind. Well,
he doesn't have a lot of limited carries.
Well,
too,
yeah,
though.
he only rushed 592 yards, 116 attempts. So James Robinson, and then now it went from 5.1 down to 4.7, and all you had Robinson, Jones, Cook, Mitchell, Singletary, Henderson, Harris, Stevenson. I mean, so even we said he had 4.2.
I think he had like 4.2 or 4.4.
And most of all these guys here, the 600 yards, 900, 918, 812. None of them at the 4.7 mark had 1,000 yards rushing. So.
And they all had limited carries.
The highest one, Eckler's at 206. Mitchell's 207. Dalvin Cook 249.
And what people fail to realize is Zeke only had, I think, 213 carries last year.
I just had that up too.
He didn't have a lot. He ain't like he rushed for 300 times.
No.
He's legitimately 80, 90, 100 carries less than what he normally has.
Isaac said it's what he said. He'll chip away at you, and it's the end of the season. He'll have 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a bruising back. He's not the flashy, prize trophy they got in 2016 anymore. But he's still a top 10 back in all of football, and he is still feared by many defensive coordinators, including defensive coordinators in the NFC East. I don't care what anybody says. No one's just looking past Zeke Elliott like this guy's declined.
And he's still, at his age, still a young running back.
He's 27, going to be 28 years old.
So, I mean, for someone to say he's in D, I mean, to me, when a running back starts declining, it's 30 plus. You're under that.
And you're showing
mark.
significant. Like your per average carry goes from, let's say Zeke's down to 4.2 down to 3.3 on 300 carries. I would say okay, and he only has, let's say he has 300 carries, 3.5 yards a carry, and 800 yards.
I think any team in the NFL would love to have an average 1,000-yard rusher every year. Over 4 yards a carry. They'd love that.
Oh,
give him the ball twice, you're damn near getting a first down every time.
I mean,
so it's like Mooney with the goal line offense he ran.
Against you, that's what happens. So if anybody, we're gonna be posted all over TikTok. I really want to see what the world thinks of this. Maybe some of us are delusional. Maybe I am just giving it a bit of a biased opinion. But we do want to move on. There is a topic I want to bring up since Isaac is in here watching us. There's a topic I want to bring up, and everybody knows of what.
D said his bold prediction: Zeke 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns.
That's not bold, bro. That could happen. D. let's talk about the Miami Dolphins situation. And there's a part of this I want to talk about. Okay. There's a part of this what just really irks my blood, even though I labeled this person as the GOAT in his career. So,
Fantasyland.
we all know the Dolphins just lost 2 draft picks, 2 first-round draft picks in the next 2 years. And it's all because of tampering.
That was first and a third.
And I think they lost a first, a second, and then they lost a first and a third. Like they lose their next 2 first-round picks.
I think they just lost 1 first round, and then they lost a third, and then got fined.
Okay, maybe I misread that. Anyways, so I want to know from people in this world, and this is not saying let's fucking ban Tom Brady from the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that. I want to know, John, in your opinion, the world's opinion. There's only been three times in NFL history that a team, an organization has been penalized draft picks.
A first round.
Yeah, and first round draft pick. In all 3 instances, Tom Brady has been somewhat involved. Now, like I've said, the Spygate, I don't know how much he was involved in that. I think that was a whole lot of Bill Belichick. Tom just knew about it. But Deflategate directly involved Tom Brady.
I think it's going to put an asterisk on his legacy. I mean, when you look at everything, because you already get a lot of people say, "Well, his Super Bowls were cheated," or this or that, or and now the fact of this, because now that was a pretty dirty thing for him to do to Tampa. Tampa's bringing you in, and you want to go screw him like that, retire, and then come back.
Yeah, he only retired. He didn't retire from the game of football. He retired from the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah,
that's essentially what he did.
He was going to go be with Miami. Well, when the deal fell through with Sean Payton and then the Flores thing and all that happened, it all fell through. Tom Brady all of a sudden decides to come back. It wasn't because your drive for the game was still there. It's because your plan fell through that you were planning on doing.
Yeah, you wanted to be that. Wouldn't he have been the first player?
Yeah,
partial owner type
in the NFL. So it's like,
like you said, he never lost the drive for football.
His drive was still there. It was
he just had a different motive.
Yeah, his motive was, I'm going to go be a part owner for a team, play for that team, and call all the shots, bring everybody in that I want to bring in.
Devil's advocate, hypothetical. Do you think Tom Brady would have played week 1 for the Dolphins? Do you think it would have been?
I know this is Isaac goes, I say 11th best because he's a Cowboy.
He's retarded. Anyways, do you think he would have? Okay, this is just hypothetical. All right. Do you think no, seriously, do you think he would have started game 1 for the Dolphins? Or do you think they would have like let him, screw up a little bit? And then like week 3, like, oh, Tom Brady wants to come back. Who would have guessed he wants to come back?
That's a good question. I think he had started from week 1. I do. I just know him Brady.
You think he'd have made it that obvious? Or do you think they'd have tried to hide it? They were hiding it since 2019.
I think if Tampa, because D brought up a good point. No, Tampa wasn't going to let him go, and I believe that. And if you remember back, Bruce Arians had made the comment, no, we're not letting him out of the contract. If he retires, that's fine. But he's not going to play for anybody else. So, but if they would have let him out, Tom Brady doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks.
But he could have retired and still signed somewhere else, though.
No, because he's still under contract with Tampa. Even though he retired, they still own the rights to him because he had that contract.
So he wouldn't have been able to play week 1.
He wouldn't have been able to play week 1 unless Tampa agreed to do a trade. Because if he'd come out of retirement, they still own his rights for him for the next 2 years.
So do you think, devil's advocate, do you think Tampa knew about this whole ordeal?
I don't. I think it was a backdoor deal. If they did know about it, they wouldn't have gotten Miami wouldn't have gotten in trouble. That was the whole reason why, because Tampa knew nothing about it. They'd want 10 first rounders. They probably would, Tampa, for Brady. But I don't think they knew, because that was a big reason why they got fined, because they said Miami went behind Tampa's back and talked to Brady. But who knows? Who approached who? Did Miami go and approach Tom Brady? Tom Brady go to Miami and say, hey, guys.
What I read is Miami reached out. That's why Miami's organization took such a big hit, because they reached out to Tom Brady. And Tom Brady proceeded to, I guess, be involved in the discussions.
So then I think in that instance, Tom Brady should be just as much at fault and be in trouble
Okay,
too.
this is what I'm trying to say here. Well, this is what I'm glad you said that because I've been waiting on that. And I didn't even say to Isaac at work, why isn't Tom Brady being punished for this? This is my whole argument.
'Cause of the name, Tom
He was
Brady.
direct, but he was punished for Deflategate. He got 4-game suspension for Deflategate.
Yeah, but that was kind of like,
But he's directly broke NFL rules, NFL guidelines. That is actually should be, and I don't care what any of you say, that's a personal conduct violation. You have made the NFL look bad.
because you went out and was going to try to go to,
You're deliberately breaking the rules. You're deliberately breaking them.
but I feel like that's Tom Brady's. I feel like that's his persona. His attitude is he don't care because he feels like he's Tom Brady.
We've always felt that Tom Brady feels he's bigger and better than anybody in football. And I've always said his personality, I don't care. You people can ridicule me. I'll put it all over TikTok. I think he's one of the fakest human beings when you put a mic and a camera in front of him. That's not the Tom Brady you get. I don't care. He's not that guy. And it's great that he has molded himself into that guy.
I hate to say this. I think right now in the NFL, the quarterbacks we have now, we potentially have a chance to watch better quarterbacks than what we've seen in Tom Brady.
I think we have a great opportunity to see
With
quarterbacks that one up Brady, Breeze, and Manning.
I think you see it with, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Justin Herbert, you got Joe Burrow, these younger quarterbacks coming into the league, even Josh Allen's in there. I think to sit and say, right now, this era, Tom Brady's up there, he'll always be up there. But I think the reason why Brady is, people can laugh at me for saying this, but I do think he's staying in the league as long as he is because he knows the game's evolved and he wants his record to stand for a long time. And
he has that fire in him. If anybody that's a Tom Brady fan or I should say like an Isaac who just literally they would worship a statue of Tom Brady. That's just what they are. That's like their God. Like that's what they do. They love Tom Brady like that. I'm telling you. And if there's any true Tom Brady fans who's followed him since the day he's walked into the league, they know Tom Brady's drive is that. If he can walk that record to unreachable, his competitiveness is going to make him do it. I think, and don't get me wrong, everybody knows I'm the biggest LeBron fan. He doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah, he doing
the same thing. Tell me he's not.
Because at this point, he has nothing to, there's nothing to prove anymore. You won what you did. Do we see another quarterback that's going to go to many Super Bowls? Yeah, we could. Patrick Mahomes is right there with him. And Herbert now, Burrow now, those guys have potential.
Well, you got Josh Allen, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Dak Prescott, you got lots of quarterbacks that you could literally sit and say that even some of the lower tier quarterbacks, and I'm not saying lower tier as in shitty quarterbacks. I'm saying lower tiers like Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, people that aren't looked at as like the complete passing quarterbacks, all have the ability to have better careers. And I'm saying statistically, because of the way the game's evolved, than Manning, Breeze, and Brady. Like, coincidentally, 15 years from now, dude, we could be looking at numerous 70,000-yard passers.
Well, D says, and I got a comment back because he said maybe not. The quarterbacks of this generation might get screwed. They're going to need to keep players around them for 20 years, even touch Brady, Manning, Rodgers, Breeze. It's not entirely true because you look at the early parts of Brady, Manning, and Breeze's careers. They weren't throwing for 5,000 yards. They were throwing for 41, 42, 43. And Brady wasn't even passing 4,000 a couple times. Breeze there, the latter part was hitting 5,000 4 or 5 times. I think he hit 5,000 passing yards. But now you're looking at quarterbacks that's hitting 45 and 5,000 yards in their second season, third season.
We watched Burrow do it while leading the league in sacks.
Yeah. But and then Herbert threw for 5,000 the second season in the league. Mahomes, I think, has done it twice already. The league has evolved so much since when those three quarterbacks came into the league, Breeze, Manning, and Brady, that has evolved so much to such a passing heavy league that I think it's going to be easier for those guys to beat that record because of the fact These guys are going to be they're going to be throwing 45 to 5,000 yards every single season.
Yeah, I think
So. I mean, I think the potential of these guys beating that record is so much greater. I mean, you look at Burrow at 36 touchdowns. Herbert, I think, at like 34.
Dak had 36.
Yeah, I mean, you got these guys thrown in the 30s already in their second season, and they're only going to continue. I was reading some stuff. D said, okay, records, I will agree. Super Bowls, no.
Oh no, Super Bowls, yes. It'll be
tougher.
It's going to be really hard for Burrow and Patrick and Josh. I'm not going to name them all. If you guys know, you watch enough football, know who the great young quarterbacks are in today's league to get 7 rings, to get 10 Super Bowl appearances. Like, it's almost unheard of, and it's going to be hard to see some of these quarterbacks play 22, 23 years. That's why I think you're correct when it comes to Tom Brady and wanting to push them stats above and beyond.
Well, and most people, most guys don't want to play that long. They're like, man, my body's taking a beating 20 years. I want to be done. Isaac said, boy, don't get me started with you and Tony. Tony Romo.
No, I'm not doing that today.
Anyway, I don't see, like I said, most players want to retire at 20. You know, I mean,
most people want to get out there by about year 15.
D said he's a diehard Pats fan his whole life, but Burrow's his favorite right now. And, you know, and I've seen a lot of people that are not Bengals fans, that are Burrow fans, are rooting for him just because, you know, the underdog mentality that he's always went through. And
as long as he can control his arrogance, because we've seen numerous videos just this year. Like I've said, I've told you a million times, I love Joe Burrow's moxie. I absolutely I love it. I wish a lot of quarterbacks had it. It's just don't get too big headed outside of football to where it becomes more.
He said he loves the arrogance.
Yeah, no, but things become that's
the only one that there's a comment that he made that I didn't like when they asked him about his necklace being real. He goes, "Yeah, I make too much money for it."
Yeah, I mean, I don't want his arrogance to become an annoying arrogance, because people say, "Oh, I love arrogance." Yes, I love it on a football field. I don't love it off a football field. You're not better than me as a human being, my guy. You're just a better quarterback than me. So don't treat me like I'm some type of idiot. You know what I'm saying?
Some things I've been reading, they say that he's really even showed improvements from last year. And they said a lot of them saying they think he's going to take the next step up. I hope he does. You know, me being a Bengals fan,
I don't know what next step there is for him. That's the thing.
I said. I'm like, what?
When people say he's going to take the next step, no, the Bengals need to take the next step and just protecting him, and the rest is history.
You know, I feel like they did that, you know, bringing in Lyle Collins, bringing in, the one from Tampa,
Kappa, yeah.
Bringing him in.
Alex Kappa.
And then bringing in the guy from New England.
They've adjusted their offensive line.
Yeah,
they've fixed needs.
They've made some good improvements there, I think.
I think the biggest thing with the Bengals, you're going to probably disagree with me, is if they have a mediocre quarterback, Joe Burrow's interception numbers are going to go up, because you don't want to see him throwing 700-800 times. You want Mixon to still be that 1,000-yard, 1,100, 1,200-yard back.
I think that Zach Taylor's came a long way. I think he's smart enough to know to keep that balance, to have that kind of.
Well, I'm just saying you can't have him get hurt. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Mixon has to stay healthy.
You can't, because we don't really have a good second one.
No,
I mean P Ryan or P Reen or whatever how you say that. He's not bad, but I don't. I think if Mixon stays healthy, I think Cincinnati's going to win now, because it's going to get to a point where they're not going to be able to afford all the talent they have. I mean, they have Burrow, they have Chase, Higgins, potentially, and Boyd, potentially 3 starting wide receivers there. Boyd, I think, just signed a contract, so he's kind of in there. But when it comes time for Chase and Higgins is going to want some
next
money.
Year.
Yeah, Higgins is going to want some money. So to keep that talent, I mean, the other biggest issue I think Cincinnati's need is tight end. I think if they get a good tight end, Uzama wasn't horrible, but I think if they go out and get somebody if they could have some talent like a Mark Andrews or a Kittle,
yeah, but that's talent you're not going to find anywhere else.
You
need a serviceable. You need someone like, and I hate to say, but you need like a who can I say?
Knox, like from Buffalo.
Yeah, Dawson Knox, Dalton Schultz. The talents like that are just good catching.
Decent Gronk for one season.
I still think Gronk's going to come back to the Bucs before the season starts. It's just
He said the interview, he said he's done. He said he don't have
he's
no
done.
desire to play.
Yeah, but he said that 2 years ago too, and he was back playing for him. I think
Well-
once Tom Brady starts fucking preaching in his ear,
I don't know, Tom. They just went out and got Julio Jones. So
yeah, but
mean-
hey, what's he good for? 6 games? He'll pull a hamstring and miss the
Well,
next
well,
day.
you
The
gotta
dude must
figure-
have the world's worst hamstrings.
well, you got to figure that now he's not going to be running because there's 2 other starters. He's the third receiver, whether way you look at it. He's the third receiver, so he's not going to be running as much out there. They're not going to depend on him, so he may go the whole season, not have to carry
he
the
wasn't.
load.
He wasn't the number 1 guy in Tennessee and
but he
couldn't
was
make it
the
all
second, wasn't
season.
he?
I-
I think he was number 2 receiver, so he's out there every play. Number 3, he's not well with Brady's offense. He might be, but I mean,
Yeah, but in Tennessee's offense, you're not asked to do nothing.
No.
Turn around, hand it to the bus that's
Yeah,
behind you.
that's
You know what I mean?
hand it to the Mack truck back here.
You know, at least in that offense in Tampa Bay, he is going to be asked to run routes. He's going to be asked to stay healthy. And I think if it's a win, to me, it's a win-win situation for the Bucks. They took a gamble. And if he ends up getting hurt, oh well, you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, you legitimately have one of the best tandems in all of football. And if Julio just so happens to be able to play 15 games, let's just say he plays 15 and gives you, I don't know, 50 catches, 800 yards. I mean, it's going to only help. I guarantee Chris Godwin and Mike Evans stats are up if he's giving you 800 yards from
you
Julio.
have that kind of talent out there, man. It's tough.
So I want to know, though, does Tom Brady deserve to at least see some type of suspension, whether it be, this is just my thing. I'm so sick and tired of everybody saying the personal conduct policy. Well, this is a personal conduct policy violation.
Thanks, Isaac. It's Ted Karras or
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
yeah.
This is a violation of the policy. And it's not his first time violating the personal conduct policy.
I think if that would have been anybody like Antonio Brown or something like that, Tom Brady, they would have been suspended a year if they did that.
Or at least multiple
Well,
games.
you look at a good example. Look at Calvin Ridley, suspended a whole year for betting against games that he wasn't even playing.
Wasn't even his own team.
Well, yeah, wasn't even his own team,
It was just DraftKings.
and got suspended a whole entire year. Why?
Well, I know they shame, and I get the suspensions on all of them. Well, did he deserve a year? I'm not going to say he did.
But that's my point. But
Yeah.
he got a year, first time ever doing it. It wasn't against his own team. You want to give him a couple games, fine, but a whole year.
I get it.
But Brady goes out there, does what he does, and doesn't get nothing. Look the other way. You know,
And we all know why most of this came out. Brian Flores.
Oh.
Brian Flores started throwing everything Miami Dolphins did under the butt. You know, just launching their business out there like it was Oprah Winfrey giving away free prizes, dude. That's just what he was doing. You know what I mean? And it ultimately spoiled every bit of plans that
but I think with that whole thing with Flores, I think that opened a door for other coaches. And what I mean by that is coach gets fired because the team doesn't feel like he's, doing what he's supposed to.
progressing. Yeah.
Does that open a door for other teams to say, oh, they fired me because my race or this or that, other reasons? Did that open the door for that? I mean, because that's what Brian Flores
I
made it
think we're
about.
gonna- I
He
think-
made it about race more than he did anything.
Well, because my thing is, and there's nothing against Brian Flores or his race. To me, Brian Flores got fired. He didn't like that he got fired.
Mm-mm.
So he throws all their dirt out there. Just my thing with this is you throw all the dirt out there, but if you don't get fired. So you knew about all their dirt at all.
And he even had something to do because he said the year they tanked, he wanted them to tank. You had something to do with all that. You
But
were
what
the
I'm saying
coach.
is, what I'm saying is you knew all their dirt and you accepted it because you were employed. The minute they don't want to employ you no more, now all of a sudden you want to spill their dirt. What does that say about character? Is that why he isn't going to ever? You're probably never going to see him as a head coach. Is that the reason why? Because I don't care what anybody says, including Brian Flores or anybody who wants to back him on this situation. Every head coach knows every organization is a bit dirty. And that even goes to your big ones like the Patriots and stuff.
Anything that has to do with millions and billions of dollars, absolutely.
There's dirt in there. There's dirt in there. There's greed in there. And there's some mischief going on. And for him to come out because he didn't get his way, and this is, like I've said before, this is not speaking on his race. And I'm not saying he is wrong for what he told people that the Dolphins were doing.
Oh, I'm not either.
Yeah, my
I just-
biggest thing is you would have stayed quiet if they continued to employ you as a head coach.
I said it's just like NASCAR.
When it comes to their dirt and what they hide, absolutely. And then
I think
what-
that's anything though. It would be NBA, MLB.
I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Anything that involves millions and millions of dollars, bro, you've got some shade in there. It's facts. And
you're willing to hide it when you're making the money, but the moment you stop losing the money, it's like, oh, I'm telling on you.
yeah, I'm telling on you, Nana boo boo.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? And it ultimately spoiled the Tom Brady and Sean Payton plan. It did. I don't care what anybody says. They can say it didn't. Tom Brady can come into my house right now. Don't know why he'd be here, but if he did, he can tell me that wasn't the idea. Bullshit. I'll tell you that. Bullshit. That I would literally say that's absolutely laughable.
I do think he should have got some kind of punishment, whether it be some game suspension, something.
Or
I mean,
fine.
You look at the headhunt, they're going after Deshaun Watson. Totally different scenario. I get it, but they're going after his head. Well, Tom Brady misconduct. To me, breaking that rule, you broke a rule.
You broke a rule. Punishments
know-
happen with rules. And it ain't like Tom Brady's been
Heisey
this.
said he'd be here in a second if Brady came to your house.
Can't drive that fast. I'd be kicking him out of here that fast. I'd tell him Peyton Manning was the best ever. No.
Wouldn't be lying.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. They pick and choose on what they want to do. And if I would say, okay, brush it under the rug if this was Brady's first time, but it's not.
Nope.
And we know of 3 serious times. We don't know about all the other times that they never talked about it.
Or the things he's covered up.
Yeah.
Didn't get caught.
There's just numerous things that have went on that where I think, even if you don't want to put an asterisk next to his name, something has to be done is my whole motive behind my question. And that's, like I said, to the world. Do you think there should be some type of suspension for Tom Brady?
This is where we could get the question of that is when it comes time to the Hall of Fame voting. Do you think these people are going to look at it and say, yep, he's a Hall of Fame first ballot? Or is it going to be like Owens, where he didn't get in the first ballot?
Well, like Pete Rose has
Or
never
Randy
been there.
Moss?
Pete Rose has never gotten in. Ever.
Because of the fact of the things he did during best statistic, whatever, but didn't get it because of, I think he'll get in, but is he still going to be a first ballot?
I think that's a good question, but I think he's going to be first ballot. I think the love and the respect for Tom Brady is above and beyond, even though he's got a lot of dirt that he drags behind him. And that's the part I don't understand is, yes, I understand what he's done in the fake personality he throws to the world when you put a camera in his face. Okay, he's a likable human being when it comes to that. And his play on the field is literally, it's undeniable. You're not going to say he's, not a first ballot Hall of Fame when it comes to Hall of Fame or when it comes to statistics and what he's done in his
I agree.
longevity. So it's like, I just think, and I wouldn't care, punish him. I wouldn't say don't make him first ballot Hall of Famer. He fucking deserves it because his stats show he deserves it. His accolades show he deserves it. But what you've done off the field or in off seasons or however it is, a punishment has to rain down on top of Tom Brady. And we still, I know maybe they are discussing it. Maybe they are. The Deshaun Watson is taking up a lot of the NFL's time and money. So maybe they are discussing it because we have yet to hear anything on Alvin Kamara. We don't know whether or not at this point, there's been no suspension. So at this point, that I'm sure of, I don't think he's been suspended, has he? Because there's been no ruling.
The way I get it was they were waiting for the Deshaun Watson thing to
Yes.
be over. Then they were going to that.
And now they're appealing it, which could take all season. So there's a real good possibility that Kamara is playing week 1.
What I was reading with that was Goodell is expediting it to rush it along.
He can expedite it all he wants because they're going to, like I said, they're counter-suing. They're going to spit some fear into it.
But I don't think that'll stop the suspension because they say once they make the ruling of the suspension, it's binding. They can't change it. They can't even appeal it. It's a binding once it's done.
I still say he's going to get 12 games. I think they're not going to suspend him for the year. They were willing to settle for 12 games in that hearing. If you're willing to settle for 12 games, because they still can only go over the evidence, and the evidence still has to warrant a 1-year suspension.
We're not talking about Brady, D. We're talking about Watson. Because Brady said Brady will not be suspended.
That we came into Watson because of it, but Brady does need to be suspended. I don't care what anybody says. You were involved in, once again, another rule-breaking personal conduct policy debacle. You straight broke rules. That's an infraction. You deserve to be punished for it, just like we would punish anybody else. So Whether or not people agree with it, I don't know. So, but on to our next topic. I really want to know who you're picking in the Super Bowl. I want to know your NFC and your AFC representatives
Already?
in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't want to know who wins. I just want you. I want you to give me your first off. Give me your sleeper team of the NFL this year, and who is your NFC AFC matchups in the Super Bowl. And we'll come back to this. You know,
That's hard for me.
it's not hard. Give me
Yeah,
what you
because
want.
my team was just in the Super
Give
Bowl.
me what
so-
you got. That's all I want to know.
Can I say two teams?
Nope.
Why can't I say two teams?
I need a sleeper team, and I need your AFC and NFC representatives in the Super Bowl.
sleeper team, Detroit Lions. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl,
No, that's your sleeper team. You think they're going to be better
but
than
I
what
think
people?
they're going to be a lot
yeah.
better. The defensive improvements they made, Detroit Lions. Isaac said the Chargers.
Sleeper team?
Yeah, I thought they were good last year, so I guess I couldn't put them as sleeper. But
Well, I mean, if they get farther than what they did
Yeah,
this year,
they
they
could
are a bit of a sleeper.
he said for Super Bowl. Okay,
oh,
okay, that makes sense.
All right.
I think overall sleeper team that it's going to come out and surprise everybody, be better. Detroit Lions. I think the way the improvements on defense was huge. Super Bowl. My team, I'm going to have to go with Cincinnati and AFC. They've improved. They didn't really hurt anything. The only piece they lost was Uzama and Larry Ogunjobi. It was the only two they lost, so not a big deal there. NFC, if I had to choose a team there, you got the Rams is up there, but I think Green Bay.
Oh, you're going to
I
go Green Bay?
think Green
Even
Bay has
losing
a
their
chance.
weapons?
I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to make some adjustments. I think you can't count Green Bay out. When you have Rodgers back there, historically one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever. I would say I say you still put them in there as a contender. Now,
I like your Detroit pick. I'm not going to pick them because you picked them. But I really think Detroit is going to be a lot better than what people give them. I don't think they're a 4 or 5 win team is what I mean. I think they could hunt for somewhere around 7 and 10, 8 and 9. I think that division's a bit weaker now. That's just me.
D said sleeper team, the Patriots. Again, they went to the playoffs.
But
Could make it up. And then he
Yeah.
said AFC reps will be the Bills, NFC's Packers. He went Packers too. So I think I don't think I just don't sleep on Jackson. He's right. You can't sleep on them either because I think Trevor Lawrence is going to I think he's going to have a good season. I think he's going to come out and be better.
Well, we're going to find out tonight because I bet he plays quite a bit tonight.
So yeah, you're right. I see
I
that.
think-
Another team, Jets. You can't sleep on the Jets with the draft they had and improvements they made.
I'm saying my sleeper here for you guys is the Colts. I think Matt Ryan completes the Colts. That's just my personal opinion. And I think they are a very, very, very sneaky pick to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
They made it to the playoffs with Carson Wentz. And now, obviously,
Yeah, Matt Ryan's
Ryan
better.
is a way better quarterback than Carson Wentz.
And that's I call them a sleeper because I say that is their sleep. That is a sleeper for a Super Bowl representative in the AFC. I am going, my AFC representative is the Ravens. Hey, get healthy Lamar Jackson back, healthy J.K. Dobbins back. Defense is going to be better. I think you're going to see another improvement out of the Ravens.
I think the only thing that could stop Lamar is if teams can really hold him down as far as running.
Oh, I agree.
I think if you push Lamar just to pass, and Cincinnati beat him twice last year, once with Lamar, once without, and they were able to contain Lamar, and they forced him to, hey, you're going to pass against us, and
my thing with this is he doesn't want that contract yet. I think Lamar has got one really big chip on his shoulder. It's just my pick for them, whether or not they get there. And I don't think anybody in the NFC, logically, the Rams did no wrong. They are like the Bengals. They got better in the offseason. I literally think shipping out, trading away Robert Woods, and bringing in Allen Robinson made them better. They're going to end up ultimately bringing back Odell Beckham Jr., I think. I think he plays for the Rams.
Just feed Dobson the ball decent. D, that's what you
Yeah,
do, bud.
I mean, and then you think about it. Cam Akers didn't play last year until the playoffs. And when he came into the playoffs, he was a monster again. So I don't see where they got bad. I mean, Aaron Donald's on another mission. You know, you got Ramsey still out there. I don't know.
They don't have Von Miller, but
Right, but I think they're perfectly fine with or without him. You can't replace his energy or his name, but you can replace him statistically. You can get somebody that'll give you 8-9 sacks off the edge.
Isaac said AFC Broncos, NFC Tampa.
He would. He would.
Tom Brady lover.
Yeah, he would.
Why don't you marry him?
Yeah, why don't you just go marry him or something? Hey, he is here though. He pulled in his badass vehicle out back. See how quick you can get here, Isaac.
I don't know about, you can never count Baltimore out, but I put Pittsburgh at the bottom of that division.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be. Tomlin's a great coach, so they're going to be better than what
That
you think.
depends what happens in Cleveland's quarterback situation.
Oh, it does. It is.
If-
I mean, Jacoby. Thing is, Jacoby isn't a horrible quarterback.
No, but
he's not going to get him to the playoffs. I don't think.
and I think if he's starter, Deshaun gets the year, even 6 or 7 games. I don't see Cleveland. I could see Cleveland being at the bottom.
It just depends on if they.
But if they got Deshaun, it's up there.
I think even with Brissett, that team is built better to me than the Steelers, from top to bottom. Because I think Brissett is better than anybody they're going to run out there quarterback in Pittsburgh. Just my opinion.
You said if he gets a year, they should go after Jimmy G. Isaac said, I love the offseason moves for Tampa with the offense, and he's a big on the Russell Gage signing.
Oh, so they bring in Russell Gage. That's it. I don't care. You can count Julio all you want until he shows that he can play 8 games. You might as well line him up at tight end and have him block and hope he don't get hurt then. You know what I mean? I love Russell Gage signing. I think that's a very, very underrated signing for the Bucs. It really is. He's still just a Tom Brady lover. He's a homer. That's what he is.
And we're going to see how that, because I think didn't one of the offensive linemen retired, and then they lost one. And
well, they got Jensen back, correct? Jensen re-signed with them, one of their best offensive linemen.
But there was two of them's gone. One retired, and then one signed with Cincy, which was Kappa. So I'm curious on how good that offensive line is going to be this year.
It can be bad though. I don't think they have to be great. Tom Brady gets rid of the ball quicker than shit. So I think he is the motor, and I don't disagree with him making it to the Super Bowl. They very well. I've said it a million times. If Tom Brady's playing, he's playing healthy, you can almost guarantee that team is going to battle for a Super Bowl position.
He breaks his leg this year.
Yeah. So I'm not against his pick. I'm just fucking with Isaac and saying it's a homer pick because he could have easily picked somebody else, but he wasn't going to do that because he picked the Bucs to make the Super Bowl last year too. So it's just hard to.
Isaac said, "Ouch."
But anyways, that's sort of what. How do I word this? I can't word it. I don't even know how to word it. What do you think the NFL as a whole, how do you think it does this year? Meaning team-wise. Like, do we see multiple 10-win teams out of both divisions? Do you see maybe the AFC getting 9, 10-win teams, or the
AFC is by far the most loaded? I do. I look for the AFC to win the Super Bowl, whoever gets in there. The talent on the AFC side far exceeds what's on the NFC, especially in the quarterback position.
Oh, I agree.
Name 5 starting quarterbacks in the NFC that is a top elite quarterback. Besides Rodgers and Brady.
I mean, there really isn't a whole lot. I mean, if you sat and thought, I don't know all the teams off the top of my head.
I mean, you go to Detroit, nah. Minnesota, nah. You go to Giants, no.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys got Dak, who's in my opinion is a top 10 quarterback.
You got Jalen Hurts.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Whatever, but he's not elite.
Yeah, he's not elite.
You have San Francisco's got Trey Lance. Seattle, you got Arizona, the Kyler Murray. Okay. Stafford and
you got Stafford, you got Brady, you got Rodgers, you got Dak. if you want to put Kyler Murray, a lot of people will. I mean, he has a super high ceiling. Is he a star in the league? Yes. Is he an elite quarterback? Yeah.
But my point is, people
Yeah.
will struggle to name 5 in the NFC. But if you go to the AFC, they're like bam, bam, bam. I mean, right off rip, you got Wilson's
they're-
over there now. You got Mahomes,
yeah, they're talented.
Burrow, Herbert. You know, the list goes on. Josh Allen. You know, so I feel like
they are loaded over there. I mean, it's
even the running backs. You look at the leading running backs. All of them was in the AFC. Majority of them was in the whether it be Chubb, Mixon, Henry, Taylor. All of them's in the
the
all your-
AFC's loaded with talent. Yeah.
You know, receivers, same thing. Especially now that are you kidding me? Aaron's old receiver.
Oh, Adams.
Adams,
Devontae
yeah.
Adams.
I can't believe I lost his name. Dad got us right there too. I could see it, spell it, but couldn't say it. He's in Oakland. So I mean, even the
So
receiver.
do you think that that seventh seed could come down to?
Isaac said Matt Stafford. Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, we knew.
Murray sucks. D said, and then Isaac Young said not Zeke.
Oh Jesus! They just won't. They won't stop with that. They won't stop with it. That's sort of. I mean, I feel the same way. I think in the NFC you might see a couple teams make the playoffs at 10-7, 9-8. In the AFC, I think 10 wins is borderline. I think if you don't get more than 10 wins, you're not making the playoff. Now that's granted, drastic injuries, whatever. You know, piss poor play if say Oakland and that whole Derek Carr, Devontae Adams don't work. You know, in the NFC, there are some sleepers. There really is.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts could really take off this year.
With the talent they just added with Philly, I mean, that's another sleeper team,
Yeah.
believe it or not, because it's the people that they've added.
I mean, adding Carson Wentz to Washington, adding I just had a major brain fart with you on there.
See,
You know, Kyler Murray could be. It's now that he's got his playoff debacle out of the way, he could take that next step. I mean, there's teams out there that maybe, you know, Trey Lance could really be what they thought he was drafting. I don't know if he will, but
I wasn't impressed when I watched him play last year. But I mean, I know it was just a couple games.
yeah. But year to
Isaac
year,
said,
people-
watch the Patriots fall flat on their face because their defense can't stop wide receivers.
I mean, that's very well. They lost J.C. Jackson. I mean, there's things out there that's the thing with the Chargers, and I know that's why he's picking them. The Chargers made some of the best moves in all of football, from free agent standpoint. Like, it's gonna be very hard to stop them.
Oh, absolutely.
We just need to say glad to be back.
Me too.
We are
too.
very, very glad to be back. We really hope that Drew is back. I mean, he ran into some issues today. I'm just absolutely pumped that hopefully, I don't know how many people watched us today or how many people will follow us into the future, but we're back. We're bigger than ever. We're smarter. We've learned. We've gained.
I don't know about smart.
So, well, when it comes to technology,
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting better with what we're doing here. Like we've said a million different times, this is all still brand new to us, man. It is. I mean, we got a nice little trial run with all of our brand new equipment. We got back. We're refreshed. We're ready to argue. We're ready to.
Said he's here. You know it, buddy.
Yep. Yeah, we're ready to argue with anybody and everybody that comes our way. We're very, very opinionated people.
Isn't that
And
the truth?
we want your challenge. Bring your challenge in. If you guys, Mooney is going to be missing. He's going to miss a lot of shows here into the future. So if anybody wants to come on, sit with us, talk with us locally. I know a lot of our close friends can't, like D, and Isaac has some of a busy schedule, but we have other friends like Brent and Aaron. We can do call-ins. I mean, we are Bluetooth capable. We are, and we're going to try to learn to run at least one live show on TikTok. We really want to. We tried it today. We
attempted.
Yeah, our OBS server, we really have to learn. So we're not going to do that anytime soon. But the show will go on live with TikTok through my phone. So
before we go, someone talk about. Do you think Baker Mayfield starts day one?
I think Baker Mayfield's the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, week 1.
I do too.
I think there's nothing out there that's going to beat him. Sam Darnold is not a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of curious. Can't wait to see what they make the decision.
And let's put that to the world. That's our question. will Baker Mayfield be the starting quarterback in Carolina?
Hypothetically speaking, let's say he does. He does start day one. What is your predictions on how he plays?
Well, barring injuries, not to him. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore.
Doesn't Carolina play Cleveland
First game, yes.
I hope to God that Baker Mayfield starts.
I think whether he does or doesn't, Carolina's running him out there.
Oh,
I don't think that quarterback controversy solved week one. I think it's going to be a week by week, who gives me the better opportunity to win. And I know Carolina's licking their chops to see the
when I get home, D.
To see the mojo that Baker's going to run out.
Dude, he's going to have such a huge chip on his shoulder. I think this dude, if he starts, I could see him potentially, because I think Carolina is a better team.
I can see him being a comeback player of the year.
I could see him going out throwing 4,000 yards. I could. I absolutely could. I could see him leading the Carolina to the playoff berth, maybe. It's all possible. I mean, he led Cleveland to a playoff berth.
Oh, I think as long as Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore stay healthy, Baker Mayfield is a perfect complementary piece for the Carolina Panthers.
And we've argued this with Mooney numerous times. Baker Mayfield was not Cleveland's. That wasn't their problem.
No, it was not Baker.
Baker Mayfield was not their problem. Their problem is the same thing we had in Cincinnati until we got this new quarterback. We got it was the culture, Cleveland's culture. The constant switching between the coaching, constant switching between your assistant coaches and all that. Poor Baker went through how many different offensive coordinators? 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years. So the dude did not get dealt a fair hand. I think if he goes to a team that has a better culture and has a more consistent coaching and everything.
Someone has to believe in Baker. You believe in Baker, Baker's going to take you places.
I think Carolina, to go out there and trade for him, obviously they believe in something. They seen something they liked. And I think Baker would have been gone sooner if Cleveland hadn't been asking for such a high ticket for at first.
Yep. And last but not before we go, where's Jimmy G starting week one? I say Seattle. I think he is the starting quarterback in Seattle week one.
Seattle, yeah, I would. D said Browns.
They ain't got no money.
Yeah, they broke. They big broke. I could see Seattle. I think that'd be about the only team. No, Giants. Giants is a possibility.
Well, they give Daniel Jones his 5th-year option.
Yeah, but why not bring a veteran in like him?
Well, they could bring him in.
Give Jones. Hey,
they're not a bad decision. They're not a bad choice out there.
I think that could be. Those are about the only 2 places because I feel like everybody else has their starting quarterback. Another one, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think day one their starter is going to be Trubisky, and I think they've came out and actually said that's who is projected starter. But
what I seen was Rudolph has been being looked at as he's been taking the bulk of the snaps as the day one starter. I really believe Mike Tomlin had it in his brain that it was going to be Haskins. I think that's what he wanted. That's what he was going to push. And ultimately, we all know what happened there. But
Isaac says Bears for Jimmy G.
I don't think they give up on Justin Fields that easy.
I don't think so either.
I think that giving up on Justin Fields that easy would just the ownership wanted Justin Fields. So, I mean, it's still not bad. It's his prediction. I'm not saying it's a wrong prediction. I just don't. I don't see how or why they would do it.
I think there's I think we're going to see a lot of different teams doing good and doing bad. Teams that we've not seen do bad, I think are going to do bad. Teams that we've seen do bad, I think are going to fare well or better this year. I think we're going to see a lot. There was a lot of changes over this last offseason. One of the craziest off seasons I've ever seen.
Yeah,
with trades and the signings.
And I completely enjoyed it and hope it continues year in, year out.
He goes, that's after Justin goes down because the line is awful.
Well, hopefully he can run for his life. I hope they switch that up. They're getting rid of Matt Nagy and things pan out for Justin Fields. I don't know if it will or it won't. I don't. He's in a bad organization for a quarterback.
I think
that is that is an organization where if you're a developing quarterback, that's not where you want to be.
I think another one to watch, a good one to watch this year because of the head coaching change is Kirk Cousins down in Minnesota. With Zimmer being gone, things changing there. I think we could we could see some different things happening down
Oh,
there.
I think this could be the last year of Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
And you know, which sucks because Kirk Cousins, you know, he's a 4,000 yard passer.
He's great.
He's-
He's great regular season quarterback.
Yeah,
He
but
is.
you get him to the playoffs, and
You can't get him to the playoffs because he has to win. He has to win the games that matter. And I've always said it. I got to watch Kirk Cousins a lot because of being a Dallas Cowboys fan, and he was a Washington Redskin. When the games mattered, Kirk Cousins he's gonna fumble them. And it's not. And I'm not saying that he plays terrible in them. It's just if he plays a bad team, he gives you 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. If he plays a good team, all of a sudden his completion percentage dips, his touchdowns dip. And it's like, where did that 300-yard a game passer go? It's because I don't know if it's pressure.
I agree with Isaac. He said, because I'm telling you, Jacksonville bringing in Peterson was huge. I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree. That
Yeah,
was huge, especially for Lawrence. You know, I think that was huge.
I think we're going to see a little bit of it tonight. I think I'm excited to see. I want to see if Trevor runs out there because that is another person that when it goes clear back to an hour ago when we talked about the preseason. This is a good learning curve for someone like Trevor Lawrence. You know, he could use these reps because he's not established in the NFL. Obviously, he doesn't read defenses very well. He struggled with the NFL speed last year. This is a good opportunity for players like Trevor.
You know, and there is some players, like some quarterbacks, like to go out and they you hear them talk, they love getting that first sack because that lets them know, okay, gets them in the middle. Yeah, there is some guys that like that, but a lot of them don't play enough in the preseason to get that first sack, so they get that first sack of the season. But
and a lot of them like to go out there and just get some game speed, some actual live game speed.
ESPN Radio said no starters are playing tonight.
Really? Well, I mean, that sort of shoots that one in the foot because, I mean, I guess I can see him doing it. It is week 1 of the preseason. Trevor probably isn't going to really start to play till probably week 3, but I'm still going to watch because it's NFL football, and to me, I give it to me. I mean, it's the best time of the year. We're 3 weeks out from my favorite time of the year, and it
It's
ain't
like
even
Christmas in September.
And it ain't even just NFL. The NBA starts to kick back off late October, early November. So it's the sports start to happen. We'll have playoff baseball. Oklahoma, or October's coming. October baseball is great baseball. I love playoff baseball. NASCAR is getting into the heat of their schedule. You know, NFL is just kicking off midway
NHL.
through. NBA comes, NHL starts to take back off. So it's like the sports realm, college, and we don't even talk about college. College football comes, college basketball starts in November.
Hey,
like,
I want to give a shout out to you. I kind of felt proud. Hey, I seen Riddick won again last
yeah,
week.
Reddick, you guys got to start realizing that's the Prince.
Now you
You heard me, Isaac. That's the Prince. That is the Prince. That's the Prince of racing.
Now he's not going to be with Bubba Wallace until 24. Next
20.
year he stays with the people.
He's still with RCR, yeah.
And then the 24 season he goes. Stop this Prince talk.
The Prince is here and he's here to stay. You just got to remember that. And he will always be known for that. Thank you to my brother Tim for saying it was the King versus the Prince. And I'm like, bro, you couldn't have picked a better nickname for Tyler the Prince Reddick. Like, just think about it. Just listen how that feels.
Hey, D, we're not doing the spicy chip challenge. That was
No,
bogus.
we still are going to do that. You guys have to realize that's not going anywhere. All right. And if
I'll
I
be in
have
Jamaica that day.
you don't even know how to get to Jamaica.
I get on a plane and fly there.
You know, they might fly you the wrong way. You might be in a Russian prison for 9 years. Just think about that. Damn, Brittany Griner. Yeah, shout out to Brittany Griner. You do big things over there, okay, Mrs. Amica? Do big things. Okay, I want to know. I'm cutting that. That won't be on our. We can't put that out there to the world. I'll cut that out. I'll edit that one.
Just like you in the bottom of NASCAR Fantasy, going there to stay.
Bro, I've been coming up that ladder for weeks, Isaac. You're out here telling lies again. Telling lies like all MJ fans. Tell them lies. But anyways, guys, hey, I do want to once again say it, and I'm not going to keep saying it. I'm fucking glad to be back. I don't know about you, John, but I
I'm
am
glad to be
fucking
back.
ready.
Thanks.
I'm here. We got our footies, our fruities, or however you want to call them. We've been munching
Footies?
on them. Thank
I'm-
you, Monster, for
I'm-
keeping my energy.
I'm wearing boots, dude, not
No,
footies.
the candy we eat, the fruities, or
These are fruities.
yeah, I call them anything I want to
Not-
call them.
Not footies.
Footies, fruities, booties. It don't
Footies is
matter.
what you put on your feet.
You put me a bunch of booties in a bag, I'll eat them. Okay,
oh dear.
that's weird. Anyways, listen, guys, we're back. We're ready to argue. Give us topics. Argue with us, please. Get us fired up. Get my blood boiling. The Cincinnati Bengals suck. You know, we're here. Zeke's going to be the rushing champion.
Shots fired.
Anyway,
Shots fired.
anyways, guys. Hey, I'm Mike Ash.
I'm Jay.
This is Sports Cartel, bigger and better than ever. And if you need something to join this family.
Or else.
Or else. It's your boy, Mike Ash.
Jeez.